I don't really think it's going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see if those communities get a renewed respect for the tourists that they depend on. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the year-end special, episode 140 something, 41, 48 of the podcast. Yeah, I'm give a pretty mellow, chilled out year in review, Christmas slash year in review mashup for you guys. Please remember YouTube watchers, please hit the like button, ding, subscribe button, ding, notification button, ding, all that shit. Leave a comment, do everything one more time for me for this year. I guess I just gotta keep saying it. I think I gotta keep saying it, but yeah, thank you guys for another year of the podcast. We're on YouTube now. I'm really excited about that. I'm really digging it. I enjoy reviewing, going back on watching the podcast. I know there's a lot more stuff I could do to possibly grow the podcast, more clips and stuff like that online. But again, things come in their time. I'm gonna, I enjoy the podcast of making this every time where I'm at, and so I'm just gonna continue and keep kind of stepping my game up little bit by little bit, balancing what I'm doing offline versus my online activities. So yeah, but whatever, that's what it is, whatever. All right, so just one more time for this year, enjoy. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 148 of the podcast. Happy New Year. Yay. Goodbye, 2020. Yay. Yeah, it's the year in review episode for me. You can tell I'm really chill. My apologies. This is not going to be a long episode. This is like my day off. I just wanted to record something before the end of the year. I was gonna try and do something before Christmas, but I needed to fucking rest. I was like, fuck this shit. So last week, I was just winding down my work year, and I was just like, fuck it. The one day I was supposed to record, the one night I was supposed to record, I just, like I just wasn't, it wasn't happening. And then the next day, yeah, I was going to record too. And I was like, all right, let me take a 20-30 minute nap. And then I woke up 3 hours later because I worked late and it just wasn't happening. So yeah, Christmas is already passed. New Year's isn't here yet. This before I have to start doing my end of the year preparations and things like that. My family I got this 1 day window to really relax. Everyone's out of the house. Everyone's gone. It's just me and my doggy who's over here licking his ass off camera for people on YouTube. And, I slept, everyone's gone, so I slept until like noon. And yeah, I'm just really chilling. I'm in the middle of chilling before everyone comes back. I'm probably going to take another nap. So this is going to be a really low key, really chill, probably a really short episode. I'm sure you've been getting lots of year in review type shit. So, yeah, I'm not gonna, get too deep into anything, just because like, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. This is my me time right now. I was able to sleep until noon for the first time in I don't know how long. So, I'm in the middle of this documentary on a docu-series on Netflix on ancient Rome I'm watching, which is quite interesting. Even though it's kind of a whitewashed documentary, it's good, but when fucking Cleopatra looks like she's from Poland, something's kind of not right with me there. But whatever. Still a good docu-series, so I'm just watching that. Yeah, again, sorry, people on YouTube, by the way. Yes, again, sorry for a low energy episode. Just to let you know, people on YouTube, there is going to be some background noise that you're definitely going to hear because the heater is on just because my dog's in the room because I'm recording during the daytime. So my apologies for that. I can't let my little doggy freeze, right? That right, dog? He's off camera. He's just like, he's on chill mode. I'm on chill mode. He's like, why are you talking so fucking loud? I'm trying to take a nap. So we just over here chilling. All right. And so let me just give you guys a little something something, bing bang boom, and then we'll get out of here for the year. Let you get to your holiday festivities as well. For me, for holiday festivities, just involves a lot of cleaning. Osoji is like a big New Year's thing that needs to get done. Preparing. Again, I don't know if I said this previously, but in Japan, I found in the West, Western countries, before New Year's Eve is really where a lot of the action comes. The holiday season comes to an end at midnight on New Year's. But in Japan, after midnight on New Year's Day is where a new year springs forth into existence. So, so to prepare for that, there's a lot of clean the house. I gotta wash the car, do a lot of shit. Thank goodness I was able to, yesterday, my last day of work was Sunday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, the 29th. So I knew the car wash is gonna be a fucking zoo. It's crazy. So, the lines out the ass. So some people were still working yesterday. So I was like, all right, I'm wash the car and do everything in the house, at the house. So, but the only thing I need to go to the gas station for is fucking whatchamacallit. Fuck, speak, I gotta go get gas too. Actually, is for, I'm drawing a blank, for to vacuum the inside of the car, right? So I was like, okay, let me just do that early, and then the washing and stuff like that I can do at my own leisure, so I'm not waiting, because last year the line was around the fucking corner, and my dog just left. He was like, okay, fuck this shit. All right, let me get you in your little doggy house if you want there. Okay, yeah, the line was like around the corner, even just to get access to the vacuum. I think last year I went early last year too, but I was waiting like 30-40 minutes, something like that. So, I knew like I just needed to go early this year. So I went early, got it done. I was in and out of there in like about, I think 30-40 minutes. So, which is good. So now I can do everything at my leisure. But anyway, I get distracted. Since Christmas has already passed, and Robbie and I talked about doing like a Christmas in Japan episode, but again, I couldn't get to it in time for when all of the Christmassy type shit goes. But I'll just give a quick overview. I think I've done it before, but for newer listeners, yes, dog. For newer listeners, I'll go through it again. Just I found a quick website with a quick list. Again, I won't get into depth just because I can't remember what I talked about before, and just review some shit, for you guys, and also relate to how it's been done on 2020, to the best of my knowledge. So the first one is Christmas in Japan is a holiday for lovers. And again, check the link in the description if you want to read up on it by yourself. But pretty much, yeah, Christmas is not so much a family holiday. It's a couple's holiday here in Japan. So your Christmas Eve date or bone session is really important. Typically, it's dinner, dinner and a trip to a hotel is kind of what's really important on Christmas for young couples. Or, if you got your own place, a trip to your place, spending the night over at your place, doing holiday shopping. When I was out doing Christmas shopping, Christmas is really interesting this year because, Christmas Eve is not everyone does that shit. But Christmas is a Friday, so actually I heard from a lot of people they finished work early, and Christmas night was the last day of work for a lot of people, which normally isn't the case. So I guess if you took Christmas Day off and then you had a lot of young couples, spending time together, they had the whole weekend and the whole start to the holiday season, love fest, So yeah, typically if you are single coming to Japan in the future, I think I was asking one of my students about this, and or somehow I forgot how I was talking about dating on Christmas or lining up your Christmas date, and apparently, definitely, for future reference, if you do want to try and line up a date for Christmas Eve, asking people out, I think, oh no, I was watching a Japanese TV show, that's what it was. Late November is when you should start putting the feelers out. What are you doing for Christmas? You know, if by the first week of December you don't have anything locked in, you gotta start making Hail Marys. Like, no one's gonna be making their Christmas Eve plans like mid-December here. It's gonna be locked in probably by the first week of December. Just FYI. Apparently, that's what, according to that Japanese TV show, that's all about dating and shit. Which is interesting to me, just to see how the game works here. So that when my son gets older, I can put him up on this shit. Next, Christmas in Japan is about illuminations and decorations. Yeah, it's just about fucking. One of the typical dates is going to see. Oh, sorry about that. My dog. Okay, yeah, you don't. My dog jumped up like, like people were home, and so I thought every people came back, but nah. But then it's funny because he kept bumping his face on the tripod. He's not used to like me having the tripod out here, so he was just like. Yeah. He's like, what's going on? Hit himself in the face with the tripod. Legs, just because he just wasn't used to navigating around those. That was pretty funny. But anyway, yeah, so illuminations, right, are or Christmas lights, pretty much. Going to see Christmas lights, if you're into it or you're not into it, it's just something you're gonna have to do, especially after Corona is over with. I don't really know what has gone on this year. I do know one area in Omotesando. Typically they put their lights on the trees. It's like a line of trees going down the Omotesando Hills in Tokyo. I'm pretty sure if you Google Omotesando Hills Christmas lights, you'll see it. And Omotesando is Omotesando. Omotesando. So Omotesando Hills Christmas lights, you'll see what it looks like. It's just a line of trees with Christmas lights, and typically, it's a pretty trendy area. It's like going down Rodeo Drive or something like that in Beverly Hills. I don't know, whatever. Watching Christmas lights is kind of romantic, kind of thing. So, trendy area as a date, if you find like a restaurant or a bar or cafe or something like that, after strolling down to see the Christmas lights and going on a date is a pretty good, solid Christmas Eve date. But you got to make a reservation beforehand up in the post-Corona life, whenever next year or the year after that. But yeah, so I know Omotesando, typically they have like lights up on their trees, but this year, to discourage people from gathering around there, they just threw them in the bushes. They just threw some lights on the bushes, and we're like, all right, don't come over here. Which is pretty funny. Okay, let me just keep rolling. So Santa. Does Santa visit Japan? Yes, he does. The interesting thing about Japan, though, I probably said this before, there isn't really a mountain of gifts here in Japan. Like, typically Japanese kids will get one gift, one, maybe a few. My son this year, by, typical American standards, his Christmas Eve was pretty tame. He got like a few books and some Legos. I think he got like 3 books and some Legos and some pajamas. That's it. But, for Japan, I'd say that's a pretty good amount of presents. I know several kids who just get like one present that they really, really wanted. Which me living here longer, I kind of agree with that a bit more. Kids kind of appreciate it. The more presents you get, the less you appreciate each one, generally speaking. But once you get over the initial wow factor of unwrapping like a bunch of presents, you're typically, the average kid from my memory is going to stick to just like 1 or 2 of those, really. The other ones are going to be like, yeah, that's cool, but whatever. Unless they're related, unless it's like, a gaming system and a few games, something like that, maybe, yeah. But like, if you got like, a game, some clothes, like a toy Nerf gun or whatever, like, you're gonna really focus on a couple of toys, not really all of them. If you got like 20 presents, I don't even know how many presents the average Western kid gets for Christmas anymore. My just frame of reference for that is just completely off. I'm just more used to the average Japanese 1-2 handful of presents. But my son was really happy. He's loving the books. He's loving the Legos. I think my dog ate one of them the other day. Like, he ate a Lego eye or something like that. I don't know. Possibly. I wasn't in the room when it apparently went down, but they say it happened, and he's all right now. So he probably just pooped it out. But whatever. Anyway, So yeah, Santa does come to Christmas. Santa does come to Japan for Christmas. You can see I'm totally off my game this episode. Again, just bear with me. It's the end of the year. I'm totally on chill mode. All right. Next one. Uniquely Japanese Christmas dinner is fried chicken. Specifically Kentucky Fried Chicken. I on Christmas Eve, it does not feel like Christmas does not feel Christmassy at all here in Japan to me. Like I worked Christmas Eve, I worked Christmas Day, and then I took the next day off just to spend time with the family. But I told you, it's not really like the big family event is New Year's. Like the feeling that you would get for Christmas, I feel more in New Year's here in Japan. So Christmas is just more like a, kind of thing. So yeah, but I was like I think I finished work early Christmas Eve, and I was walking my dog before it got too late, and then like dusk was hitting, and I saw like this mom with like a big ass on a bicycle with a big ass bucket of KFC, and I was like, oh yeah, shit, it is Christmas Eve. Like that was my reminder that it was Christmas Eve. Like watching like a mom, wheel fucking a couple buckets of KFC's finest into her house, with her kids strapped in the back. So not everyone does it, but the people who do it go hard at it. And you got to make a reservation at KFC. Like, you're not just walking in KFC getting chicken on fucking New Year's Eve or on Christmas Eve, which sounds fucking crazy, but it is, it's great marketing on KFC's part. Everywhere's selling roasted chicken. Like, I don't really like the sauce of it, the roasted chicken in Japan, like, because they put this weird ass, like, soy sauce kind of glaze on it. Like, it gets all moist. Like, I don't like moist chicken skin. I like it kind of like firm, we did do like a dinner. I made some like mashed potatoes, and we had a couple of sides, and we ordered like a proper roast chicken from I think like a Brazilian place or something like that. Like, so it had a little spice on it. It was good. It wasn't just like that bullshit ass shit that everywhere is just trying to sell just to make some type of money. So it was good. Like I think we got like a whole 1.5 or something like that. With I made some mashed potatoes and we got some salad and a few other sides. So we put something together pretty nice. It's kind of chill, but that's not really, it's not like a big scale Christmas dinner as you would probably imagine in a Western country. For those of you who are Christian or who do celebrate Christmas in that way. The biggest thing, which is the last point about Christmas I'll talk about, is the Christmas cake. That is the piece de resistance. I think, hopefully I'm saying that right. You gotta have a Christmas cake, which is another really Japanese kind of thing. For me personally, I've probably said this before, I don't really agree. My family's not a big fan of one cake for Christmas. And just Google Japan Christmas cake and you'll see some examples. What I did was I get several different cakes, individual slices. They're all decorated, kind of funky shit like that. What I'll probably do, let me make myself a note. For those of you on YouTube who want to see like what it's like, I think I just one second. Cake pic. I think I still have a picture on my phone of the cakes I bought, so I'll try to do it. I'm still on vacation mode, but I'll try to just put the picture of the cakes I bought into somewhere in this video, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you might be seeing it somewhere around my body. but if you are, like, if I don't do it, my bad. But if I do it, that's kind of what, how my family does Christmas cake. I just buy a few random, find some shit that looks good, and again, if you notice, they look really small. They are small pieces of cake. Quality is more important, not quantity. So finding a cake shop that has a variety of attractive looking cakes with interesting flavors, that is literally just like a big mouthful of cake, but, or one or two mouthfuls of cake, but it's very enjoyable. So, eating it slowly, enjoying it, sharing them with each other is kind of my family style. Some families, they do the one cake and then they cut it together. Oh, Mary Kay is so beautiful. And then they eat it together. But we enjoy it more, with a variety of different flavors, a variety of different designs and stuff like that. So if you're dating, I would probably recommend not one cake, depending on the type of girl you're with. But if you're with a like average, without sounding condescending, how do I say this? If you're with like an average girl, I forgot the name of it. With basic. If you're with somebody who's basic in Japan, just one cake would be enough. But if you're with someone with a little bit of flavor, as my wife is, she's got a little style. A variety of cakes is a bit more interesting, and it adds a bit more entertainment to Christmas cake buying here in Japan. So that's about it. That's pretty much the main shit that goes on here. Again, check out the article. I'll put it in the description somewhere. It's not really, again, I'm not really, like I said, all that amped up for Christmas here. So that's that. All right, last thing before I get out of here is for the year is just some pictures. I was looking for an article with some bullet points or something like that. I really couldn't find anything. But I think this is just picture images of course, 2020 COVID really dominated here. Of course, we did have some Black Lives Matter protests in Japan, but that really didn't dominate things as much as COVID did here. So I'm not really going to focus on that issue so much, just because, here in Japan, for me, at least in my personal experience, it wasn't something that really dominated my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, I watched it on TV through the TV, but I wasn't actively participating in those type of protests. So I'm not really going to include it in my list. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going to be real with what I've seen and what I've experienced here in Japan. I'm talking about it because, of course, it matters. Pun intended. but, but but yeah, I'm just not gonna go review it in depth just because, right? I'm just gonna focus on this list, these pictures, whatever. So the first picture you see is it looks like a temple in Asakusa, or some temple in or shrine in Asakusa. And yeah, just it really just this year, the devastating impact of the vacuum that was created with the absence of tourists here is really stunning. Is really unprecedented, I believe. And you heard me talk about it before. Like I talked about with my wife, I'm really going to be interested in seeing Japan's reaction once tourism returns to Japan, to see, because there in 2019 there was much a talk of like tourist pollution, and just the overwhelming amount of tourists coming into Japan and really ruining the sanctity of Japan in a lot of different places, being, but in their absence though, a lot of businesses, a lot of whole economies, local economies have really been devastated, and it really shows their dependence on tourism, and especially from China, other Asian countries, things like that. And I mean, of course, like I said, I've mentioned in previous episodes, those relations are a lot more complicated than I can get into. But I just want to see moving forward how, yeah, I don't really think it's going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see if those communities get a renewed respect for the tourists that they depend on. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, without picking on Kyoto, even though there was a lot of rumors and stories and talk about, Kyoto being overrun by tourists, not only from China, but just from all other countries. But now that there aren't any tourists in Kyoto, and a lot of those businesses are struggling, if not going under the weight of that, I wonder, when they return, will they be like, thank you guys for coming, and be a bit more appreciative, not only the businesses, but the local people as well. Because, you wanted Kyoto to yourself, you got it. And I'm not down there, but I'm just curious about how that goes down. Next, you got a picture of a bunch of commuters in masks. Commuters walk through Shinagawa Station in Tokyo on March 2nd. Yeah, you can see this is early March, just like one random guy without a mask. But this is early March, so just I think before when things were starting to heat up here. But there is a couple of people without masks, but I'm pretty sure now this time of year, I do see a few random people without masks here on the trains. Like I just give them dirty looks. Everyone just gives them dirty looks, I think, but mainly young people who just don't. I don't know why they don't care. I mean, again, not wearing a mask is not like a political statement like it is in America, but. Some people just like, fuck it, I ain't trying to wear that shit. I'm not trying to mess up my makeup. I don't know what their thought process is. But generally speaking, I think in the West, wearing a mask became a thing this year. There was like a couple of videos of Asian tourists being harassed or assaulted early on in the year. Because, I know as well, like, in America before this year, wearing a mask, people think something is wrong with you, versus in Japan, you're wearing it to protect yourself and other people. But yeah, all that's really changed. But in Japan, the transition into full mask society has been very smooth, I would say, besides the mask shortages at the beginning of the year. But again, my family personally was not affected by that because stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. I think you heard me say about a year ago, I just swooped up a bunch of masks just before this situation started randomly. And so we didn't really have to worry about stressing about masks or anything like that. Schools, the next one, yeah, a lot of schools, remote learning, social distancing. I haven't really heard much from school systems as far as, any negative news. My son's school, everything's just pretty cool there. Yeah, nothing really to speak of. So I was a little bit apprehensive about him going back to school, and I pulled him from school when I was off work. As soon as my wife posed that question to me, and it became an option. I was like, yeah, just pull him, and I'll take care of him every day. And which is, as you all longtime listeners know, is what I did. And but I don't really know. That remains to be seen. The impact on this one thing that's gonna be on the horizon here in Japan is from February is examination season. Entrance exam season is from February. So kids who are trying to enter a high school or trying to enter university, now is kind of a stressful season for them. I kind of feel for those kids. Job hunting season as well. Young people entering a new phase, whether it be trying to get into a junior high school, university, or enter a company for the first time. Those people are kind of stressful this year. It kind of sucks for them, to be honest with you. When this whole situation broke last year, all of the jobs had pretty much been, assigned already. But for entrance exam season is February here. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to go down. This is only like a once in a year kind of thing. You only get one crack at it. It's like, Eminem and 8 Mile. You get one chance, you got one shot. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Those are the only people I kind of feel for, to be honest with you. I've heard the numbers of young people being able to effectively job hunt were down as well this year, just because recruiting season, I've talked about it before, is massive, recruiting events and things like that. Those don't happen now. So, it's online stuff. It's more of a trickle of information, trickle of whatever the fuck. I don't know. But you can imagine there's been an impact on that. So, some medical related shit. I ain't really gonna talk about that. The flyover, but yeah, let me read the description. Medical workers watch the Blue Impulse aerobatics team of Japan Air Self-Defense Force as they fly over hospitals to salute the medical workers on the front line in the fight against COVID-19 on May 29th. I think I talked about this before. That was, yeah, it's a symbolic gesture, but I'm not really like a, sentimental motherfucker, really. I'm sure you know if you've been listening to this for a while. So that shit didn't really move me much. I was like, yeah, okay. I realized I left the TV on. That might add some more background music, background noise. But yeah, I'm not really a sentimental motherfucker. So I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. So let's skip that one. Yeah, work. Telework has hit Japan completely. Some companies are trying their hardest to go back to the old way of doing things. I know several of my students, several people I know who's like, yeah, our company's just making us go back to the office. And one of my students told me something interesting. Basically, what they said was, some people who aren't really as productive in companies, maybe some older, more senior members, the only way that they really show their value is by going to the office. And so, those people are really pushed hard to go back to the office and question people who are working from home, even if they're doing it very productively. They want to see the old way of doing things come back. So there's this kind of tug of war going on. Apparently, I would imagine more so in larger companies. One of the students I know who really broke it down to me, he works for a pretty large company, and he was just, it sounds like there's a tug of war between the old way of doing things and people who just want to keep things plugging along, going back to the way that they were so that they can keep their status, versus people who, similar to the West, who are transitioning into a more digitized way of doing things and, have thrived in that, but they're being tugged at their coattails by people who, need to be in the office, need the support of those other more, tech savvy or adaptive people. So I'm interested what's going to be. Personally, I kind of called it as far as this year. I'm going to get something I'm going to get to later, but as far as this winter being a real breaking point for the restaurant industry here, I'm calling it that next year is going to be where the cracks in the corporate structure start, because next year for a lot of companies, their fiscal year starts in April. So their new fiscal year starts in April. So a lot of the losses are going to get really logged for, mid-sized, larger companies from next year, which means a lot of the job cuts and things like that are going to start probably coming into effect from next year. This year, from this December, the bonus season, which, for if you don't know, their biannual bonus is basically where a significant portion of employees' salary is doled out. Don't think bonus in Western terms of bonus, like this is your salary plus some extra bonus. It's just, part of your base salary is kind of given to you twice a year as, it's kind of like ooh kind of thing, so, 1, maybe 2 months worth of salary is given in addition to your regular salary twice a year. So it's just cut up differently, especially for larger companies. It was done that way, but bonuses have been cut for a lot of, for not a lot, but for some companies, cut or almost eliminated. So I was watching a news report, and my mother-in-law was explaining it to me that yeah, so some people, I don't know why they would do this, but just make it easier for them. But for me, it's fucking stupid. But some employees set up their mortgages, for example, based on their bonuses. So twice a year, instead of paying annually a certain percentage, they pay a lower monthly fee. And then twice a year, when they get their bonus, they have to pay a much larger percentage, right? But since if their bonuses were cut or almost eliminated this year, some employees couldn't pay their mortgages or fell behind on their mortgage payments, because I don't know what the benefit of structuring your mortgage that way would be, me personally, but hey, good luck with that one, you know. So some people were having some issues with their bills and their housing payments because their mortgages were cut. And if basically, you know, a 10 whatever percent, I don't know, I don't really get that type of pay. I've never really had that type of payment structure in my life here in Japan, so I don't really know how it would affect my spending choices. But just the word bonus for me is something that I would not rely on, because understanding that it's something that can be taken away, reduced at any moment, right? So, but whatever. There's a picture of Kyoto. We kind of talked about that before. Empty streets of Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo walking around Tokyo in some areas in spring, early summer, once we started getting out and about, it was a ghost town. Things have kind of gone back, but they're still not the way that they once were, especially now that we are seeing an increase in the number of cases here in Japan, to record numbers. You know, deaths are also increasing. I have noticed that as well. So yeah, you know, we'll see what's going on. Of course, it is far, far less than it is in the West, but by Japanese standards, it is pretty high. So we got to see what's going to happen. Online nomikais, online drinking parties. Yeah, I've heard it's really not that. I've tried one. It's not really that much fun, and especially if you got like a drinking party, like in the picture, like 6, 9, it's like 12 people on there. You know, in the Zoom meeting with 12 people, nobody's really talking. You can't talk. I'm sitting in my living room drinking my own alcohol, listening to fucking 12 people talk randomly, talk over each other. Like, that's not really fun to me. You know, I can't really imagine the appeal of it. I guess, like, it's better than nothing for people who just really want to get out of the house. But I'm kind of like a patient person. Like, haven't really been going out doing much. I've just been to work and home pretty much for like the past like 8 months, and I'm totally cool with that. Like, I don't gotta go nowhere, you know. I got you guys, I got the internet, you know, I got you know, my own research and studies and things like that. I'm doing my work projects kind of slowed down, especially towards the end of the year, because I've been focusing on a few other things. But you know, I'm happy. I'm very much enjoying the pace of where I'm going, and I'm really happy with the way things are. So like, there's no reason for me to like stress or fret or freak out about any of that shit. Like, you know, things happen in due timing. So I'm totally fine with that. But as far as the absence of nightlife, like, yeah, I mean, every now and then I kind of get the urge. Like, I miss maybe wanting to go out and do some shit, but I got a fucking bottle of I got a cheap bottle of Remy Martin XO that I got the other day on Yahoo Auction. Whew, I've been drinking that. You know, again, this afternoon. I might have to drive later, so I'm not drinking anything for this episode. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's me personally. I'm just kind of like a whatever type of dude. I go with the flow type of dude. So I'm not that pressed to do any of that shit. The Olympics, the delay of the Olympics was, of course, one of the big stories. Again, I kind of called it. I thought it was going to be canceled for good. But you know, it's going forward. Even though we are seeing a surge in numbers, I do believe that the government, my mother-in-law asked me, and my wife have been asking me recently, I do believe 100% that the government is just gonna, no matter what, just gonna go balls to the wall and go do the Olympics no matter what the fuck happens. Hell or high water, the Olympics are gonna happen in summer of 2020, just because, like, you know how politicians get with shit like that. So even you know, if the way things continue, even if Japanese people are against it, they're just gonna do it. I don't know what it's gonna be like. You know, I mean, they're gonna be fans there. Of course, I imagine they'll do a reduced number of fans. They're gonna. I mean, right now, like this week, Japan's just closed off Japan to almost all people coming into the country. But they're planning on just opening the floodgates and letting everybody else in, like, for the Olympics. So, like, I don't know what the fuck they thinking. I don't know what's gonna happen. But again, you know, I got my popcorn ready. I'm just gonna be sit back and watch the show. That's all I can do. It's gonna be interesting. So, that's that. Restaurants, like I said, the restaurant industry has probably been one of the hardest hit industries here in Japan. You know, as you know, like several of my mentors, people I really look up to, are pretty heavy hitters in that industry. I kind of really feel for them, really feel for their companies, their staff, things like their families. I really hope they can pull through. It's basically just a war of attrition for the restaurant industry here in Japan right now. I'm pretty sure, like, all over the world, right? They're just trying to hold on as much as possible. ideally be able to hold on to the Olympics, where I guess I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, but you know, yeah, it's a pretty tough situation for them. Again, I don't have the answers. I don't know what's best. I'm just taking it day by day for myself, my family, and for my financial health as well, and for my, growing my future business opportunities. So yeah, best of luck to them in 2021. And this thing ends up with a picture of a geisha wearing a mask, sitting next to a geisha or Michael-san without a mask. I don't really know the point of that, but I don't know. It's a photo op. It doesn't really make sense to me. Doesn't really make sense to me. Like, but I was reading an article the other day about like Michael-san, from Kyoto, who's basically saying like, oh yeah, all of her work dried up, and the only work she can get is in Tokyo now, so she has to go to Tokyo. Yeah, because I was reading an article about bullet trains. Bullet trains as well are empty, so the Tokyo Japan rail system is fucked up too. Like, it's typical, same story all around the world, the same song. Digital Underground, if you don't know, but which is actually, I believe, the first record Tupac was featured on. So you can Google that if you don't know. And but that Tupac is, I don't know if that's the first time I heard Tupac, but I think that was the first song Tupac was featured on. But yeah, came in, anyway, Google it. It's a great song, timeless song. But Digital Underground, is it all around the world same song or just same song? Just Google Digital Underground same song, it'll come up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. This year, I mean, everyone's saying 2020 sucked. Everyone's saying 2020 is the worst year ever. It was alright for me. Like, it was good. I mean, like I said, the only regret I have from 2020 is not being able to, go back to the States with my family and take my Japanese family, and see my family in America. That's the only regret that I have from this year. Everything else, I'm good with it. This year has been pretty good to me. It's been restful. I've been made some strides in a lot of different aspects in my life. And I mean, my family situation has become a lot more solid, and, because I think we've been able to spend quite a bit more time together. And work together, and which is good. Oh, that's just good, So everyone I know is healthy. Everyone I know is happy. I realized like the past week where I kind of let everything go from this year, like that I had expended a lot of mental and physical energy making sure that everyone was good. That's what I realized. That's why I was like, I need to just take a few days, a week or so, just to rest and take it easy, because you've heard me throughout the course of this year, strategizing, researching, planning, moving around, gathering resources and information and things like that. So yeah, to keep us in a good space this year, I think I did use quite a bit of energy, and so today is like my day to just be a blob on the floor. I'm gonna kick this dog. He's like doing nothing too. I'm probably going to take a nap on this sofa, and in a minute I'll probably go sit and take a nap. And and yeah, just pat myself on the back a little bit and give myself a much needed rest, because this year was a good one, but it was a very much energy intensive one. So 2021, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, to be honest with you. I have some ideas. I'm not going to share them on here, just because they go mainly economically is kind of my focus, but I don't get into all that shit here, on this forum. But I don't know. I'm along for the ride just as much as you guys. And thank you guys for rocking with me for another year. Again, I think this is maybe I want to say the third year, going into the third year of the podcast. We've got almost 150 episodes under our belt. We've got quite a few listeners that started YouTube this year. Yeah, it's just good, man. And thank you all for another year. I hope your year has been, bearable. More than that, I'm trying to think of a escalating level of words. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. I got nothing more for you guys this year. I got nothing for you. I got nothing left. but no. Yeah, just strive, prosper in the next year, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So, all right, y'all. That's this year in a nutshell for me. I'll holler at you next year. Peace.